Let me tell you a story. About 20 years ago, I was just starting out doing video work, and I got a great gig to help a company make videos to promote their corporate exercise programs. I met my client to discuss some ideas, and pretty quick in the meeting, he says to me, "Kid, I've got 30 years of experience doing this." And I had just enough experience to know what that meant, that he'd be in charge of the story and the interviews, and he didn't need my ideas. I'm there to push the buttons. It was a great gig. I was happy to have it. So we get to the interviews, and the first person comes in. It's a human resources person who tells us the exercise program, it involved this many employees, their insurance premiums went down by this much. And the next HR person comes in, this many employees, insurance premiums, my boss thinks this. Person after person, lots of facts, lots of figures. Then Chewy walks in. 20 years later, I don't remember the name of the client, but I remember Chewy's name because Chewy had a story. The first thing he said, "Thank you for giving me back my grandkids." Before this program, I would go home and I was too tired to play with them. The kids would tug on my sleeve, "Poppy, Poppy, play with us." And I couldn't do it. Then I started this program and I had more energy. And I'd go home and I'd play with my grandkids after work. Thank you for giving me my grandkids back. Wow, right? So a week later, I'm in the edit bay and I've got the Chewy footage all ready to go, and my client shows up with his notes and "Show me this person." One of the human resources people, and so we get their numbers and their stats in there. "Show me another HR person," and we get their numbers in there and get some other numbers in there. And finally, I ask, "Hey, what about Chewy? His story was great." To which he says, "I've got 30 years of experience, kid." And I realized then that I knew something that he didn't, and he probably wasn't going to be willing to learn from me. Videos aren't about facts and figures. You've all seen hundreds of PowerPoints with facts and figures, and you don't remember any of them. But you remember the stories. 20 years later, I remember Chewy. So in this class, I want to help you figure out, what are your organization's stories? And how can your organization tell them? There's more of them than you probably think, because when they hear the story, then people want to learn the facts and the figures, and that's what the space on Facebook below the video, that's what that's for. Right? That's what the rest of the email can be about. But the video, that's how you get people to care about your mission the way that you care about your mission, with the stories. And that's what we're going to learn about. You can do this. We're going to talk about making and editing movies, which may feel intimidating, but this is very doable. I've trained volunteers around the world to make videos for me, and you can learn it too. We'll hold your hand where you need it, and this is all set up so you can skip over the stuff that maybe you already know. It's in small chunks. You're busy, and this is another thing to add to your day. I get it. So most of these lessons will be 5 minutes or less, aside from a few where I get a little long-winded, but it should be pretty easy to squeeze this in during a coffee break. Now, I'd also keep a notebook along the way and stop and try things out as we do them so that you can cement in what you're learning while you're learning it. Now, here's the basic outline. First, we're going to talk about storytelling. That's the building block of everything that we'll do. And we use that to recognize and put together the best stories for your organization. Then, we'll look at interviewing. How to get those stories. You've got a lot of them, I promise, and we'll help you to find them. We'll talk about making the video look and sound professional. It's not hard, it just takes a little knowledge. With a few small exceptions, you probably already got any of the equipment that you need. And then, we'll take you through the editing and the re-editing and shaping the story until it's just right for your audience. Then finally, using social media to get your stories out into the world. So that's where we're headed, but first a quick detour to talk about the equipment. What are you going to need to do this?